Have you ever wondered why some days feel almost effortless? Like everything flows, your mind is clear, and you feel naturally inspired. While other days seem heavy, no matter how hard you try to think positive, there is a scientific explanation for this. Rooted in quantum physics and neurobiology, understanding it can completely shift the way you experience your own energy. High vibration is not a mood you stumble into by accident or something you can force with sheer willpower. It is a coherent state, a measurable, tangible quality of your energy field that emerges when your thoughts, emotions, and physiology come into alignment. And this alignment is not reserved for spiritual masters or monks in remote monasteries. It is available to you here and now if you learn how to recognize and cultivate it. Most people spend their entire lives oscillating between reaction and resistance. They wake up already entangled with yesterday's worries, replaying the same thoughts that generate the same emotions, which in turn produce the same brain chemistry in their bodies. From the perspective of quantum science, this is not simply a psychological pattern. It is a vibrational loop. Your personal energy field is constantly emitting frequencies, much like a radio signal, and those frequencies are interacting with the larger quantum field that surrounds you, influencing what you notice, how you feel, and what experiences collapse into your reality. In this video, you'll discover why maintaining high vibration is not about pretending to be happy or denying what you feel. Instead, it is about learning to create coherence between your mind, your heart, and your nervous system. You could think of it as tuning your internal instrumentation so that the signal you broadcast is clear, steady, and powerful. This is when the quantum field responds in ways that feel synchronistic, because you have become an observer who is no longer scattering attention across conflicting intentions and beliefs. Take a moment right now to notice your own energy. No need to change it, just observe. How does your body feel as you listen? What thoughts are hovering in the background of your awareness? Is there tension in your chest or a subtle sense of openness? This simple act of observing without judgment begins to shift your state. It interrupts the automatic patterns that keep your vibration tethered to familiar, often limiting timelines, and it introduces the possibility of something new, the emergence of a coherent signal that the quantum field can recognize and reflect. Here's a perspective you may never have considered. You don't lose your high vibration all at once. It doesn't vanish in a single moment of stress or disappointment. Instead, it dissolves in small increments through micro-choices, to react instead of respond, to tense instead of breathe, to rehearse old stories instead of observing them. When you understand this, you begin to reclaim your power, because if your vibration erodes through tiny moments of unconsciousness, it can also be rebuilt through small moments of awareness. Scientific studies in neurocardiology have shown that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field far more powerful than the brain's. When you are in a state of emotional coherence, when your heart rhythms are harmonious and synchronized with your breath, you are literally broadcasting a more organized, higher frequency field around your body. This isn't a metaphor, it's measurable. Researchers can observe this shift in real time, and when you sustain this state even briefly, it changes your biochemistry, calms your nervous system, and alters the way your brain processes information. In other words, you begin to perceive reality through a different lens, one that is less reactive and more creative. So why does this matter? Because the quantum field doesn't respond to your words alone. It responds to the totality of your signal. You might affirm abundance with your thoughts, but if your body is vibrating in stress and scarcity, the signal you're sending is incoherent. And in quantum terms, an incoherent signal produces random, unpredictable outcomes, often the very ones you're trying to avoid. This is why so many people feel exhausted after trying to stay positive. They are fighting themselves on an energetic level. What you will learn here is how to end that inner conflict, not by suppressing your emotions or performing positivity, but by understanding that your power lies in returning to alignment again and again. This is not about perfection. It's about cultivating the skill of noticing when you slip out of coherence and gently guiding yourself back. Over time, this becomes your default state, a steady, elevated vibration that no longer depends on ideal circumstances to be sustained. If you've ever wondered why certain people seem to radiate calm confidence and attract opportunities without forcing, this is the reason. They have learned to maintain a coherent field. They don't just think differently, they feel and embody a different frequency. And because the quantum field is participatory, because your observation, your feeling, and your intention all contribute to what becomes real, your personal vibration is the most important variable you can influence. In the next sections of this video, we're going to explore how to train your nervous system to support higher frequency, why a simple morning practice can set the tone for your entire day, and how to recognize the subtle shifts that mean you're entering a state of energetic alignment. Stay present with me, because by the time you finish this experience, you'll have not just a conceptual understanding, but a felt sense of what it means to become the steady observer of your own vibration. And that, more than any affirmation or technique, is what allows you to create a life that mirrors your highest frequency. If you're still here, it means something in you is already starting to recognize that vibration is more than just an emotional state. It's the language your entire system uses to communicate with the quantum field. This isn't philosophy, it's physics. Let's start with a core principle most people never learn. Everything you experience exists in a state of probability until your observation collapses it into form. In quantum mechanics, this is known as wave function collapse. Until you direct your awareness to a possibility, it exists as a field of pure potential. The act of observing, combined with the energy of your emotional state, selects a specific outcome and stabilizes it into your reality. This is not a metaphor for positive thinking. It is an interaction between consciousness and the fabric of space-time itself. Think about this. Your brain is constantly predicting, filtering, and constructing what you perceive. Even neuroscience confirms that your perception of reality is a controlled hallucination, a model generated by your nervous system based on expectation and memory. But here's where it gets fascinating. The signals you feed into this system don't originate only in the mind. They also come from your heart, your breath, your posture, and the electromagnetic field surrounding your body. This is why simply trying to change your thoughts without addressing how you feel in your body rarely leads to lasting transformation. To illustrate this, imagine your vibration as a signal broadcast tower. Every thought you think sends out a frequency. Every emotion adds a layer of information to that frequency, and every action either reinforces or disrupts the coherence of your broadcast. When these layers are in alignment, you create a stable, resonant field. The quantum field, in turn, mirrors this coherence by reorganizing probabilities in ways that feel synchronistic. It's why you suddenly meet the right person, receive unexpected support, or feel inspired to take action you would have overlooked in a lower state. But here's the paradox. Most people unknowingly sabotage this process. They think they have to force themselves into a higher vibration by repeating mantras or avoiding any negative thoughts. In reality, this creates internal friction, a split between the mind and the body. You might be saying, "I am abundant," while your nervous system is still locked in the frequency of survival. From a quantum perspective, that contradiction introduces noise into your signal, scattering your focus and preventing the wave function from collapsing into the outcome you prefer. One of the simplest ways to understand this is through the concept of coherence. When researchers measure the electromagnetic field of the heart, they find that positive emotional states like appreciation, love, and calm generate smooth sine wave patterns. These patterns indicate coherence. The heart and brain are communicating effectively, and the nervous system is in balance. In contrast, states of frustration, anxiety, or resentment produce jagged, erratic waveforms, signaling incoherence. And this incoherence doesn't just affect how you feel. It disturbs the clarity of the energy you project. In this video, you're going to learn how to recognize these subtle shifts. You'll start to see that maintaining a high vibration is not about forcing yourself to feel good all the time. It's about cultivating awareness of when you slip into incoherence and gently bringing yourself back. Think of it as learning to tune an instrument. The first step is noticing when you're out of tune. Only then can you adjust your frequency. If you're wondering how to start practicing this, here's a simple invitation. The next time you feel yourself contracting, whether it's stress about work, conflict with someone close, or a surge of doubt, pause and place your attention on your heart. Slow your breathing. Notice the story your mind is telling. Ask yourself, is this the frequency I want to broadcast into the field? This tiny moment of observation creates a choice point, and each time you choose coherence over reaction, you strengthen your ability to hold a high vibration, no matter what's happening around you. I want to be clear. This isn't about spiritual bypassing or pretending challenges don't exist. High vibration is not a denial of reality. It's the capacity to stay connected to your core frequency of trust even as you engage with life's complexities. It's the understanding that while you can't always control what happens, you can always choose the signal you emit in response. If this perspective feels different from what you've heard before, if it resonates somewhere deeper than your intellect, I invite you to stay with me. Because by the end of this experience, you'll have tools not just to elevate your vibration temporarily, but to build a stable, energetic foundation that becomes your natural state. And if you're feeling a subtle shift already, a sense that something in you is beginning to remember, just notice that. That recognition is the first sign that your field is becoming more coherent. One of the most overlooked aspects of maintaining a high vibration all day is how you begin your morning. The first moments after you wake up are when your brainwaves naturally shift from theta to beta frequencies. In this transitional state, your subconscious mind is still highly receptive, and your body hasn't yet fully reactivated its habitual stress responses. This window is your most powerful opportunity to set a coherent baseline for your entire day. Many people start the morning in immediate reactivity, checking messages, scanning headlines, remembering yesterday's worries. Without realizing it, they are instructing their nervous system to re-enter the same predictable states that keep their vibrations scattered. But when you choose to create intentional coherence before engaging with the world, you essentially tune your energy field to emit a stable frequency. This is not a feel-good ritual. It's a measurable shift in the electromagnetic patterns radiating from your heart and brain. In this video, I want to share one foundational practice you can start tomorrow morning. It is simple, but its impact compounds over time. It's called heart coherence breathing, a technique studied extensively by institutions like the HeartMath Institute. The principle is straightforward. When you slow your breath and focus your attention on your heart, you bring your autonomic nervous system into balance. This balance is the physiological basis of high vibration. Here's how you do it. The moment you wake up, before you reach for your phone or get out of bed, bring one hand to the center of your chest. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Begin by simply noticing your breath without trying to change it. Observe the natural rhythm as it moves in and out. Next, gradually slow your breathing to a smooth, even pattern. Aim for about 5 seconds inhaling, 5 seconds exhaling. As you continue, imagine that you're breathing directly through your heart. Visualize each inhale drawing in calm, clear energy, and each exhale releasing tension or static. Once you've established this rhythm, introduce a regenerative emotion into your awareness. You might focus on appreciation for a specific person, a memory of feeling safe, or the simple gratitude of being alive in this moment. Let this feeling expand in your chest. As you sustain this practice for just 3 to 5 minutes, your heart rhythms begin to synchronize with your breath. This creates a state known as cardiac coherence, a measurable harmonic pattern that stabilizes your entire system. Your brain shifts into more organized waveforms, your hormonal balance improves, and your electromagnetic field becomes more coherent. In practical terms, you're creating an internal environment where higher frequency emotions like clarity, resilience, and ease are easier to access throughout the day. It's important to understand why this works. From a quantum perspective, your coherent heart field is not contained within your body. Research shows it radiates several feet outward, interacting with the fields of people and spaces around you. This is why when you enter a room in a regulated, aligned state, you often notice others responding to you differently, sometimes without understanding why. It's not charisma, it's coherence. This practice also has a profound impact on how you perceive challenges. When you begin the day in cord and heart coherence, you are less likely to slip into automatic survival responses. Instead of reacting with frustration or fear, you're more able to observe situations neutrally and respond creatively. From a quantum perspective, this is how you maintain a clear signal, one that continues to collapse probabilities into outcomes aligned with your higher intention. Remember, the purpose of this exercise is not to force yourself into feeling positive. It's to create a physiological environment where elevated emotional states naturally emerge. You're not manipulating your feelings, you're cultivating the conditions for coherence, which then becomes the foundation for high vibration. If you're wondering how long you need to do this to see results, the answer is surprisingly encouraging. Research indicates that even 3 minutes of heart coherence breathing can shift your biochemistry for hours, and the more consistently you practice, the more your nervous system learns to return to this baseline automatically, even under stress. This is why I encourage you to treat this not as a technique to try once, but as a morning ritual, a way to declare to your own body and the quantum field, I am choosing coherence first. Over time, you'll notice that situations that once pulled you into reactivity lose their charge. You'll feel steadier, clearer, and more connected to what matters most. In the next part of this journey, we're going to explore how to maintain this vibration as you move through the inevitable challenges of daily life. Because it's one thing to feel elevated in the quiet of the morning, and quite another to stay aligned when the day becomes unpredictable. But you'll see that with a few subtle shifts, your coherence can become the most stable element in any environment you enter. Stay with me. The field is always listening, and the signal you choose to emit today is shaping the probabilities that will become tomorrow's reality. It's one thing to begin your morning in a high-frequency state, but as the hours pass, most people find their coherence begins to fade. Emails arrive unexpectedly, challenges surface, the energy of others presses against your own. If you don't have a strategy for navigating these shifts, you will unconsciously default to the same reactive patterns you've practiced for years. This is why learning to sustain your vibration throughout the day is not about avoiding stress. It's about building the skill of returning to alignment quickly, no matter what happens. You might be surprised to know that some of the most significant changes to your field don't come from big dramatic decisions, but from what you do in small transitional moments. Neuroscience calls these state shifts, the subtle changes in your physiology, breathing, and mental focus that occur as you move from one context to another. The key is to train yourself to notice when you've left coherence and to have simple tools to come back. Imagine, for example, that you're working on a project and you receive criticism you didn't expect. In that moment, your heart rhythm will almost instantly become erratic, your breathing might constrict, and your thoughts will likely rush to defend or justify. From a quantum perspective, this is when your signal becomes noisy, when the field receives a scattered broadcast of fear, frustration, and tension. This isn't something you can override with willpower alone, but you can disrupt the pattern with awareness. One of the simplest practices is called the micro reset. It doesn't require privacy, special equipment, or anyone else's permission. Here's how it works. The moment you notice yourself contracting, pause whatever you're doing, drop your shoulders, feel the weight of your body supported by the chair or the ground. Take a slow, intentional breath, letting your exhale be longer than your inhale. Then place your attention back on your heart and recall, for just a moment, the feeling you cultivated in your morning practice, whether it was gratitude, calm, or openness. This small act does something powerful. It interrupts the chain reaction of stress hormones and helps restore the smooth, coherent heart rhythm that signals safety to your brain. You're not forcing yourself to feel positive, you're simply stepping out of the reactive loop long enough to remember who you are when you're not in survival mode. Over time, these micro resets build a new baseline, a nervous system trained to return to coherence faster and with less effort. There's another layer to sustaining high vibration: how you manage your focus. Most people let their attention be hijacked all day long, notifications, conversations, mental rehearsals of the past. Every time you lose intentional focus, you leak energy. This is why even on days when nothing bad happens, you can feel exhausted by evening. You've scattered your field by fragmenting your awareness. To counter this, I encourage you to practice single-task presence. When you're working, simply work. When you're eating, just eat. When you're speaking with someone, give them your full attention. This discipline of focus not only conserves your energy, but trains your brain to sustain the steady patterns associated with coherence. From the quantum perspective, it strengthens the clarity of your signal and makes it easier to attract experiences that match your chosen frequency. You may also find it helpful to create small rituals throughout your day, anchoring points that remind you to return to alignment. For example, every time you wash your hands, you might take one conscious breath and silently affirm, "I am energy." Every time you transition from one space to another, you might pause at the doorway and briefly feel gratitude for the opportunity to choose your vibration. Again, these micro-rituals are deceptively simple, but over time they rewire your habitual responses and make coherence your new normal. Remember, you don't need to maintain a perfect state of peace all day. You only need to notice when you've drifted and choose to return. This is the real difference between people who maintain a high vibration and those who feel at the mercy of their circumstances. The former don't avoid challenges. They build the capacity to recalibrate over and over. So, before we move into the next part of this journey together, I'd love to invite you to engage with this practice right now. Take a moment to anchor the intention you've been cultivating. In the comments, simply write, "I am energy." This isn't just a phrase, it's a declaration to your own field that you are choosing to become an intentional observer of your reality. When you type those words, feel them in your body. Let them be a small but powerful act of coherence, one that the quantum field will recognize and mirror back in ways you might not expect. Stay with me, because in the next part of this experience, we're going to explore how to protect your energy from external influences, how to create a field around you that not only sustains your vibration, but amplifies it no matter what environment you step into. By now, you've begun to see that high vibration isn't something you achieve once and hold forever. It's a living practice, but there's another layer we need to address if you truly want to sustain this frequency throughout your day: protection. Not protection in the sense of defense against some external enemy, but protection as the creation of a stable, coherent field around you that naturally filters out what is not in resonance with your chosen state. From a quantum perspective, this is not mystical, it's measurable. Every living system emits an electromagnetic field, and the human heart generates the most powerful one of all. This field extends beyond your body and interacts with the larger energy field of your environment. When your heart field is coherent, meaning your emotions, breath, and nervous system are in harmony, it creates a kind of energetic boundary. People feel it, situations feel it, and without needing to shield yourself in fear, you naturally repel what doesn't match your vibration. So how do you create this energetic protection intentionally? One of the most effective ways is through visualization combined with body awareness. I want you to try this with me now. As you listen, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your attention back to your heart. Breathe slowly and evenly, just as we practiced earlier. Now, with each inhale, imagine drawing golden light into your heart center, a luminous, warm energy that nourishes and strengthens you. With each exhale, feel this light expand outward, forming a radiant field around your entire body. See this golden energy as a living shield, not a wall, but a dynamic, intelligent field that allows in what supports you and gently deflects what does not. As you sustain this image, notice any sensations that arise. Maybe you feel a warmth spreading through your chest or a soft tingling in your hands. These aren't imaginary. Your body is responding because your nervous system and energy field are sensitive to your focus and intention. And from the quantum perspective, what you focus on consistently begins to collapse probability waves into form. Your coherent protective field becomes a real influence, not just on how you feel, but on how reality responds to you. This practice does more than just create a sense of safety. It changes the way you interact with the world. You'll find that stressful situations seem to have less pull on you. The emotional turbulence of others feels easier to observe without absorbing. You become, in a very real sense, a stabilizing force in any environment. Science supports this in fascinating ways. Studies measuring heart rate variability and electromagnetic field coherence show that people in heart-centered states influence those around them, even at a distance. Your coherent field acts like a tuning fork, encouraging other systems to harmonize with yours. This is why the most grounded people in a room often set the emotional tone without saying a word. And here's the most important part. This protection doesn't come from trying to block or resist the world. It comes from cultivating such a clear, steady inner signal that anything incoherent simply moves past you without sticking. You're not bracing against life. You're radiating in a way that makes discordant frequencies irrelevant to your state. I encourage you to bring this visualization into moments of transition, before a meeting, when entering a crowded space, or even while commuting. It only takes a breath or two to reconnect with that golden field, and a cumulative effect is profound. Over time, you'll notice that what once drained you now passes by without impact. What once triggered reactivity now meets your steadiness instead. In the next part of this journey, we'll bring everything together. You'll experience a simple guided exercise designed to anchor your high vibration as a felt, embodied reality, and you'll receive an invitation to continue cultivating this field as part of a living, conscious community. Let's move forward. Your coherence is not just a gift to yourself, it's an offering to the world around you. Now that you've learned how to elevate and protect your vibration, the most important step is to integrate everything into a simple, embodied practice, something you can return to anytime you feel yourself drifting into reactivity or doubt. Because high vibration isn't something you achieve and then forget. It's something you cultivate moment by moment, breath by breath. To help you anchor this understanding, I want to guide you through a short exercise. If you can, take a comfortable seat where you won't be disturbed for the next few minutes. If you're listening while multitasking, that's okay. Just let your attention rest gently on these words and feel whatever arises. Close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. Bring one hand to the center of your chest, connecting with your heart. Take a slow inhale through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhale gently through your mouth, releasing any tension in your shoulders or jaw. Continue this smooth, steady breathing as you let your awareness settle into your body. Now begin to visualize the golden field you created earlier, a radiant, shimmering energy surrounding you. Imagine it expanding with each inhale, becoming brighter and more coherent. With each exhale, feel it stabilizing into a protective, living presence that moves with you wherever you go. As you hold this image, silently repeat to yourself, I am the observer. I am the field. I am the frequency. Feel the meaning of these words, not as concepts, but as a truth resonating in your body. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are an extension of it, a unique expression of consciousness shaping probability into form. The vibration you choose in this moment is not just an internal experience. It is a signal that informs what unfolds next. Stay here for a few more breaths, feeling the steadiness of your own energy. Notice any sensations, a sense of calm, warmth, or quiet expansion. There is no right or wrong way to feel. The simple act of observing is enough. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Notice how your awareness feels different, perhaps a little clearer, softer, or more in chord. This is coherence. This is high vibration embodied, and this is the invitation I want to leave you with. Keep returning to this practice, not because you need to be perfect or maintain an artificial state of bliss, but because the more you choose alignment over reaction, the more natural this frequency becomes. Over time, you'll find that you don't have to try to stay elevated. You simply are. Now that you've learned how to elevate and protect your vibration, the most important step is to integrate everything into a simple, embodied practice, something you can return to anytime you feel yourself drifting into reactivity or doubt. Because high vibration isn't something you achieve and then forget. It's something you cultivate moment by moment, breath by breath. To help you anchor this understanding, I want to guide you through a short exercise. If you can, take a comfortable seat where you won't be disturbed for the next few minutes. If you're listening while multitasking, that's okay. Just let your attention rest gently on these words and feel whatever arises. Close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. Bring one hand to the center of your chest, connecting with your heart. Take a slow inhale through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Exhale gently through your mouth, releasing any tension in your shoulders or jaw. Continue this smooth, steady breathing as you let your awareness settle into your body. Now begin to visualize the golden field you created earlier, a radiant, shimmering energy surrounding you. Imagine it expanding with each inhale, becoming brighter and more coherent. With each exhale, feel it stabilizing into a protective, living presence that moves with you wherever you go. As you hold this image, silently repeat to yourself, I am the observer. I am the field. I am the frequency. Feel the meaning of these words, not as concepts, but as a truth resonating in your body. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are an extension of it, a unique expression of consciousness shaping probability into form. The vibration you choose in this moment is not just an internal experience. It is a signal that informs what unfolds next. Stay here for a few more breaths, feeling the steadiness of your own energy. Notice any sensations, a sense of calm, warmth, or quiet expansion. There is no right or wrong way to feel. The simple act of observing is enough. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Notice how your awareness feels different, perhaps a little clearer, softer, or more anchored. This is coherence. This is high vibration embodied. And this is the invitation I want to leave you with. Keep returning to this practice not because you need to be perfect or maintain an artificial state of bliss, but because the more you choose alignment over reaction, the more natural this frequency becomes. Over time, you'll find that you don't have to try to stay elevated. You simply are.